6:30 a.m. I think moving forward, this is going to be my new live stream for the start of the day. My 6:30, wherever you're at in the world. If you're Americans, it's going to be the night before. So it's Monday night where you guys are. I'm on updated boxing schedule. There's a lot of fights to cover, so you guys can ask away. There's some breaking boxing news that I woke up to. So Emmanuel Navarrete, Charlie Suarez, and the commission did what we thought it was going to do and deemed that fight a no contest. So if you go to BoxRec right now, no decision. Yeah, go to BoxRec. Check out Emmanuel Navarrete's BoxRec, and I just posted this in our group. And it is, yeah, it's deemed a no contest due to the missed call, right? It was called a headbutt. It was actually a punch. This is an example where we won a lot of money on that fight. And it's good that the betting apps don't force you to pay back the money, because inverse to that, we know we've been screwed before on decisions. So yeah, it's one of those times. If you did take Navarrete on a bet or your parlay, we got one over on the sports bet, because at least my book down here in Australia only offers three-way betting. And I'm pretty sure a no contest would have ruined my parlay. I don't know about yours, wherever you are. Guys, wherever you're tuning in, like this video, comment. Let me know how your parlays are going. We have a busy week. I was a bit wrong yesterday during the live when I said the boxing schedule. There are actually 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's a lot of events this week, man. So my Friday, your Thursday night in America, Albert Ramirez versus Michael Flannery is a card in Canada. Then we have Josh Kelly versus Flavius Bea in England. Brandon Moore versus Stanley Wright in New York. Fabio Wardley versus Justice Hooney in the UK. Keyshawn Davis versus Edwin Dos Santos in Virginia. Ferreira versus Ferreira in Florida. Mickey Bay versus Escondon in PA. Justin Paldo versus Burgos in Texas. Callum Simpson versus Ivan Zuko in the UK. Jai Apatai and Squeo in Australia. And then on Sunday, we have Junto Nukatani and Nishida in Japan. So there's a lot of fights to cover. I have 7 bookmarked. So if there's any fights on that are going to be streaming, or that you want me to focus on, you want me to do a breakdown, analysis, and prediction on, leave that in the comment section below. I already uploaded fight number 1, and that's the Josh Kelly versus Flavius Bea fight. I covered it because, I know Josh Kelly personally. I think, I'm a fan of his work. I always cover his fights. I cheer for him, and I wanted to give him his due diligence. You can talk all you want about what, we know a couple years ago, Wasserman is his promoters. A lot of people feel that they haven't been doing the best job at putting him on the biggest shows. He's fought on one Riyadh season card. He was supposed to fight Liam Smith. Beefy pulled out due to an injury. At 31, it's fair to say that Kelly's career, what's up, GOAT? It's fair to say that Kelly's career at 31 isn't where a lot of us thought it would be when he came out of the amateurs in 2016 and entered the pro ranks. We know he was a British Olympian, and when you watch his highlight tape, I don't want to say he's 31, and whenever you have a reflex fighter, he relies a lot on twitchy movement, feints, head feints. He does a lot of flashy things in the ring, and when you have a style like that, you definitely have a shelf life. And we've already seen him move up weight classes, see if his power will carry over. I don't want to say he's had mixed results. They took him to America a couple years ago as kind of the Americans' introductory to Pretty Boy Kelly, and he fought at the Garden, and he fought Ray Robinson, and he fought to a draw. And he took a lot of damage that he shouldn't have taken. He had his hands down doing all that flashy stuff. And a lot of the critics, the boxing critics, the Americans, weren't too happy with his performance. Hasn't been back to the States. Went on to fight David Avanesyan and got stopped against Avanesyan. He ran out of gas in that fight, got hit a lot. And we know Ava is most known for his 2 losses to Ennis and Crawford. So Kelly's put together a little bit of a win streak. Not a lot of huge names on his resume. And this is a Romanian fighter who's 35 years old. He has 1 loss that I feel, in my opinion, Kelly should have no problem with. So if you haven't seen that upload, it's in the playlist section under predictions. I analyze both guys' careers. I tell you who I'm betting. I'm taking Josh Kelly. The odds are insane. I don't even know, just for the sake of my channel and the video, I give you a prediction, but it's $1 So I don't even know if I'm gonna moving forward. I don't even know if I'm gonna throw $2s on my parlays, just in terms of juice versus the squeeze. But there is a lot of money to be made this week. I'm currently editing the Justice Hooney versus Fabio Wardley fight that's going down in the UK, and that'll be uploaded today. That'll be my prediction. I'm interested to see how you guys are leaning on that fight. It's a heavyweight match, and the odds are insane once again. A lot, with Hooney being a huge underdog going into the UK, and you can make whatever that however you want. So who are you guys, with all the fights, who do you guys want to see? We know there's a lot of good prospects. We don't even get the Kelly fight, but I'm not really interested. Yeah, GOAT. And like I told you, I started there because I'm a friend of Kelly, and there was a time not too long ago YouTube was filled with Josh Kelly fights. You even look at the highlight mixes that some of the big boxing sort of highlight channels will do. All of Kelly's with like 1 million plus views, they all date back to like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And so I'm just trying to give him a little bit of publicity. He actually took the video that I made, shared it on his Instagram. I think, we're friends on Insta. I think he has about 400,000 followers there. So that, whenever fighters do that, I know that they appreciate the analysis and breakdown. And, solid guy, family guy, lives in the gym. And when he's on, when the young kids say, when he's cooking, man, he's fun to watch. And like I told you in the breakdown video, if you haven't seen Kelly box, at least if you get the fight, watch what he does. At the highest, when he's on, he looks great. So GOAT, who are you who are you most interested to see? What card? Because I know we got, like I said, a lot of cards. The ESPN card. Whenever Keyshawn fights in Virginia, I mean, you know how they talk about, Jimmy Butler, when playoff Jimmy versus regular season Jimmy. Virginia Jimmy, like hometown Keyshawn versus regular Keyshawn is different. Whenever Davis is in front of that home crowd in Norfolk, Virginia, at least the last few fights we've seen him, he's just on a different level. That dude, world class. He's going to have an opponent in front of him, Edwin Dos Santos, that I feel is going to give him the best opportunity to look great. Yeah, that top rank card gives us a lot of options, dude, and we could go over that right now. That top rank card is looking a lot of good prospects. I mean, the Davis brothers, Keon, Kelvin are on that card. Abdullah Mason's on that card. Tiger Johnson's on that card. A lot of good prospects. We just covered Tiger. Tiger just fought maybe a month ago. Top rank fight's usually the best to make money on. Yeah, DJ, I agree with you. We always hit on the top rank cards. Lately, the last 2 months, I hit on the top rank and the Japan cards. I've been doing really well with the Japanese fighters, or the Japanese fight cards. Don't always pick the Japanese fighters. We picked Sugar Nunez, the Mexican who beat Rikishi, so we won on that fight. But even the fight card before that. And if there's a Japanese card too in Nakatani. He's one of my favorite fighters right now. But Tiger Johnson's 15-0, 7 knockouts. He fought for the first time at 147 last fight against Kendo Castaneda, and that was only the end of March. Wasn't that long ago. It seems like it was 2 weeks ago. And Kendo is a bit of a journeyman. He stopped Kendo in the 5th, and Tiger is a fun prospect considering, his 5'11", his range, how he fights. Nice little orthodox fighter, technical. We got both Japanese and top. Yeah, I think, guys, if we're smart, we can make a lot of money. I'm learning a lot through my losses. It's similar to a fighter or an athlete. Everything's honky-dory when we're winning, but even when I was like playing sports at a high level and, being part of team sports, I was coached by, my coaches and, good advice from my mentors. Dissect why you lost. Dissect the losses. So I bring those principles to the gambling, my betting advice. So moving forward, I'm going to make a little bit of adjustments on my long parlays, especially on the main event fights. Having the 2 losses bothers me. And it doesn't bother me that I lost the Josh Taylor fight and the Caleb fight because I lost money. That's not why it bothers me. It bothers me because we lost and, we broke that winning streak. So moving forward, I think I'm going to be a little bit less greedy in a sense of adding, I think I'm going to have a margin of how many people I put on a parlay in terms of those low odds. And then also I'm going to experiment this week with some over and under method of victory bets. There's some fights that I like that. I've been learning from my L's too. Haven't lost a parlay since Raleigh went the distance on a 6 parlay win streak. GOAT, animal. So that's why everybody on the channel, appreciates that feedback. GOAT, you've gone against the grain on a few bets in which you won and a lot of the people had lost. So I definitely keep notes on that. I think if I was looking at the odds right now, guys, if you want to, just because I just studied the tape on Justice Hooney, the Aussie, versus Fabio Wardley. Now, both guys are going to be, the heavyweight division, anything can happen. And the odds are pretty interesting. Hooney's a big underdog. I mean, it could be worth a bet. Hooney by knockout right now in Australia is like 8-1. But I'm thinking about as a safe bet. Both guys have high knockout to win ratios. Right now, I'm getting $1.54 for the fight to end within the distance. I'm thinking that's a good bet. I'm going to do a parlay with just the method of victory bets this week. Even like if you like Hooney or Wardley, whatever side you're siding with, to win by knockout, the odds are pretty good. So it's something to think about. Let me know if your books have those options out. And that's definitely not my prediction. I'll tell you what that is when you see the video that's uploaded. That'll be up in a couple hours. If you're new to the channel, I do live streams every day, whether it's fight day, fight night, the night after. I got a big plus money. What I won't go big on, Keyshawn by stoppage, Junto by stoppage, Kelvin money line, and I'm pretty confident in it personally. That's nice. The Junto by stoppage. Let's see what that's going to pay. So you got Junto by stoppage. Yeah, plus money, 500, 4-1. You think he's going to stop Nishida? 6-1 dog. Junto to win by knockout. Yeah, that's what the odds are saying too. Not quite 2-1 money. He's at a plus 170 right now in my book to win by stoppage. So $100 gets you your money plus 70 back. I like that bet. Junto, I mean, you got to understand, this guy's a Japanese fighter, but he's cut his teeth in America. When you look at who he trains with in the States, his sparring partners, that's what makes him different. One of my sort of confidants in the boxing scene is a guy named James. He lived in my hometown for a while. He's part of the Robert Garcia sort of family. Doesn't train with them anymore, doesn't coach with them anymore, but he talks to him all the time. He looks at Robert Garcia kind of like a brother. Said, I appreciate the support. Like always, guys, these tips go a long way for me personally in terms of allowing me to know that I'm on the right track, and you guys appreciate the content that I put out. So Said, man, you always hook me up. I appreciate you. And hopefully I'm returning the favor in one sense or another. But Junto Nakatani, why a lot of Americans and the people in the know are high on him is because they're more connected to his training camps and the people, he doesn't look at himself as an American fighter, but there's there's American coaches who look at Nakatani as kind of an American prospect, funny enough to say, just because where he's been training at, I think pretty much at least the last 5 years. My guy James, who's connected with that Robert Garcia camp, was telling me about Nakatani like 5 years ago, and he firmly believes this guy. Now I don't know how much recency bias his opinion holds, but he thinks Nakatani, due to his height, how he punches, his angle of punches, and he thinks Nakatani holds the technical advantage if he ever fought anyway. And that's such a fun fight to think about. I know that with MJ. Akhmadaliev, the Uzbek fighter who fought last weekend, looked good, looked sharp, was playing with his food. He's supposed to be fighting anyway in September. Like I said, the fight, I'm tuning in. I mean, Akhmadaliev is a great little fighter. He has one loss. He does a lot of things well. Matchup-wise, I think a taller, rangier guy, a more precise puncher, a guy who places his shots, and a more defensively sounded guy like Nakatani is that style to kind of give Naoya Inoue a little bit of problems. Because even with Ramon Cardenas taught us you got to punch with Inoue. You just can't sort of, engage in that clinch and wait for him to go for you to go. You punch with him. And Louis Neri taught us that too. And I think, though, 9 out of 10 times or 10 out of 10 times, Inoue wins that battle. We haven't, he's been dropped, but, he has a chin on him and he has power. You're going to get to Kelvin Albright breakdown. Yeah, and I'm looking at it's funny you say that, GOAT. I think that's the most 50 fight. Yeah, and I talked about that, and I'm kind of torn on that, guys. We know that I think where the money is, guys, this week, we have to be smart. The money is being able, and just like every week, is being able to piece together the proper fights. Jermaine Ortiz I'm a big Jermaine fan. I can't find tape on Jermaine Ortiz versus Albright, which is unfortunate. I'll have a check down here. Do you follow I might be Themistocles? Do you guys go try a Themistocles? I might be pronouncing that wrong. I know it's a Greek name. I think he was a Greek god. It's spelled Themistocles, but Themistocles on YouTube. He usually, that's where I get a lot of my highlights from old fights, and he does it with no music, which I like. He might have the Jermaine Ortiz versus Albright fight. But I think Albright, let's see those odds right now. He's an underdog, but he's not a walkover. 16. Yeah, quality over quantity. Keep it simple. Said. Yeah, and I'm learning that from you boys. I'm learning that from Muscles. I'm learning that from Gary. I think sometimes, just like a fighter when they're on a knockout streak, just like Jaime Moon, or just like Edgar Berlanga when he was coming up, 16 fights, 16 first-round finishes. You get a bit like used to it and greedy in a sense. And betting's the same way. You know, you think you're going to hit every single bet, and then when you don't, I think it's important for us to reevaluate our systems. So I take it, it's like the Jordan meme. You know, that's all he had to say, and I took it personal. So that's what happens when I lose. I go back to the drawing board, and we're hitting this week. It's just going to come down to what puzzle pieces we put together and, you know, how patient we are. Because that Albright, so back to Goat's question with the tape, he's referring to Calvin Davis, Nahir Albright fight. Davis is undefeated. He's a good look, 15-0, but Albright's 16-2. And, you know, it's a 10-rounder. Who are Albright's losses to? He already talked about. He lost to Jermaine by decision, and he lost early his first pro fight. You know, Adam, I should help people with betting. I'm getting most fights correct, and I did pick Resendez. Yeah, leave it in the comments, brother. You know, that's the thing. If you're new to the channel, the thing about the community I have on my page and the community that 3D Boxing Gary has is that everybody tries to work together. You're not going to see the boxing casuals will learn really quickly on our channels to just get out. So if you feel that even a prediction I make is wrong, dude, this isn't an echo chamber. Tell me I'm wrong. And then what we really want to know is your reasoning. You're right. I have to put their pieces together and I hope to show up. Yeah, I said it's like we're kind of architects. Or when I was a kid, you had that game. It was like I'm so old. That board game where it was like a doctor. You're playing a doctor. And there's a buzzer, and you have to take the little pieces with the metal prongs. Operation, I think. And if you hit the thing, you get shocked. That was a crazy game for kids, by the way. It's kind of like that, trying to put the pieces in the right places without getting shocked. But what I was getting at about, you know, picking winners not based on odds, though, that's something that I'm a stickler about. Somebody gave me Somebody gave me the feedback last week. Johnny, you know, he was new to the channel, and just in the last 10 days, all the odds were like $1.04, 8-1, $1.07, 7-1. And we were just winning because we were taking the favorites, and he thought that was my methodology. And I messaged back to him. I go, mate, I was like, I'm not going to pick an underdog for the sake of getting lucky with no reasoning behind it. And so it just happened to be all of these cards had all these big favorites. If I think a dog is going to win, I'm going to tell you he's going to win, but I'm going to tell you why. And with the Resendez fight, everything that I saw with Plant, I didn't see a path to victory for Resendez watching his film. And, you know, we can only sit back and in hindsight debate. Now what we saw in Resendez at 20, and if you do watch the tape that I did on him, and if you watch the lives that Gary and I did and my breakdown, you could hear me say multiple times, the thing Resendez has is that he's 26. And I did talk about that hunger, and I just didn't think that would be enough. Because, you know, most guys are hungry to win. Most guys. I mean, we didn't see Caleb's hunger. But looking back at Resendez's performance, you saw a 26-year-old getting better. What's good, Johnny? You early today on America. ESPN fight, the ones I'm more interested in. I think De La Santa's going to put. Okay, El Gallo, I appreciate you here, man. Yeah, I'm doing lives. Didn't he lose to 3? He lost to Benavidez, Canelo, and he just lost to Resendez. Yeah, I don't even bet on underdogs money line normally. Yeah, guys, like the video. If you're new to the channel, I'm in Australia, so I'm going lives based on my clients. Plants weakness is Mexican, yeah. So I'll be doing live 6:30 in the morning my time, which is the night before, wherever you guys are tuning in. Now that changes on Fridays, and I'll give you a heads up. Yeah, Canelo, Benavidez, and Resendez. Those are his 3 losses. Yeah, it's that style too. It's the blueprint. And cheers to Resendez as coach. if you guys watched him in the media week, and I know that it's going viral now, but his coach during fight week said that they were going to win. They had the game plan, a blueprint, and they did. And we talked about it yesterday on our live stream. And what's that? Make Caleb, push Caleb back. That pressure, he'll drown. And I thought Resendez could have got Plant out of there. I got to be honest with you. There were times where I thought Resendez had him hurt, and I thought Resendez got caught looking at his work, because it looked like Caleb wanted to go. Like, even though Caleb lasted the entire fight, it looked like he was ready to go. His body language, in not even late rounds. I think it was that 5th round or 6th round. I thought if Resendez, or if he would have had like 30 more seconds in the round that ended when he wobbled him, I thought Resendez could have, switched into another gear and got Plant out of there, which would have really been wild. Winning how he won was already impressive. But like I said, Resendez, he looked more physically stout. He added tools to his game, his constant movement. He looked like a totally different fighter. And this is why boxing is unpredictable, man. Dude, you watch Resendez's tape, he looked totally different. Yeah, I'm a Plant hater, but didn't see that Mexican beat him. 2 losses. The Elijah Garcia fight isn't on YouTube. Yeah, it got scraped from YouTube. And I cover Elijah. Guys, like I said, if you're new to the channel, I cover all these fighters. So Elijah Garcia, he has a lot of hype on him. He's a prospect, man. That's a tough fight. And he doesn't, is he a finished product? No. Resendez, is he a finished product? No. And that's something that we got to ask ourselves when we're putting money on these fighters. And we knew that Caleb was a finished product. We talked about that. At 32, 33, there's not much you're going to add to your toolbox that's going to be new. You're already set in your ways. And when we're learning a lot from these fighters that, like, at 26, this guy, if he's serious, he's going to add elements to his game. This is surely a fight Josh Kelly needs to dominate to get a big fight. Flavius is, hoping the promoter. Yeah, we talked about this. Wasserman my man who just commented about Josh Kelly. Wasserman, his promoters, just said, I forget his promoter's name, Kelly, I think, or said that they want Josh to fight this fight plus 2 more fights between the end of the year. And look at Josh's box rec. We haven't seen Josh fight 3 times in a year due to various reasons in a while. Happened with Roach versus Tank. Roach looked different. Yeah, exactly. And I should have known something, and maybe you guys could find this out. Could you imagine, and this is going to sound super nerdy, but when I saw Resendez's parents ringside, I was like, damn. Not to say that I didn't think they would be there, but it's kind of like, you're confident, and you watch him all fight week. He was confident, and that confidence had to come from somewhere, whether it was belief system in his training, the game plan. But to have your parents there in a fight that you're a 7-1 dog, look what happened with Kwame Ritter. His mom, and I covered that, I put that knockout on my shorts, so you go watch it. Kwame Ritter got knocked out in the first round against Daniel Blancas. Blancas is a fun prospect, guys. He's a Benavidez prospect. And Ritter's mom is in the front row going hysterical. He got knocked out, and he was unconscious. It was a scary, brutal knockout. My point is, if you're a fighter, you're prepping for a fight, a big feature fight, televised nationally, and you're a huge dog, and you don't feel like only you know if you could win that fight. Not all fighters will invite their parents ringside. Not all fighters want their kids to see what's going to happen. But I feel if you're a confident fighter, you're going to want the world to watch. And, we can only look at stuff like that. I'm talking, these are little small minutia of the storyline that we can only dissect looking back. And I'm actually a huge Keyshawn fan, but I wouldn't sleep on No, I'm not sleeping on Edwin either. But I think that De Los Santos, the guy that we know De Los Santos to be, isn't that guy anymore. I mean, you got that Division 2 guys, they're not big dudes. And when's the last time we saw De Los Santos fight? Wasn't it Shakur? Manny Robles is underestimated as a coach. Manny Robles, hell of a coach, but there's a lot of good coaches out there that don't get to shine. Yeah, we haven't seen Edwin fight. I think it was Shakur. He hasn't fought in almost 2 years, a year and a half against Shakur. He hasn't got a stoppage since Adorno in 2023. And, no, he stopped Valenzuela. He stopped Rayo. I forgot he stopped Rayo in 2022. But that was a different Rayo. Is that? Yeah, he did. That's insane. And Rayo became a champion after that. So De Los Santos is a dangerous fighter, but what I'm saying is that style, especially this recent version of Keyshawn, I think that For how good and what we see, I don't think Keyshawn's a finished product either. Said, I appreciate you, man. Always taking care of me and the channel. You never know what a fighter is going through before a fight, whether it's an injury, personal issues, not taking the other fight serious. And these are things said that I think over time, the boxing community, the nerds like us who like, analyzing these fights and wagering money, these are like points of differences for content creators to kind of grow exponentially, finding this sort of thing out. You know what I'm saying? Like these are variables that we see play in a role. Like I didn't know until my bet was wagered about Khalil Ko. And Khalil Ko didn't let anybody know until that Ring Magazine article was released a night before or 2 nights before the fight. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Khalil Ko, rematched Gallegos last weekend and won and looked amazing. And, all of a sudden had the best jab in boxing and looked brutal. But 6 months prior, he looked like a different guy, got stopped, dropped multiple times and stopped against Gallegos, the Mexican. And they do the rematch in Guadalajara, in Gallegos' home country. And Ko comes out there and looks amazing and stops him. And then 2 nights before the fight, when I already made my wager, I read this Ring Magazine article talking about how Khalil Ko had rhabdo. Rhabdo is an injury to where it's a condition that occurs when you're overtraining. You see it a lot with like endurance athletes, CrossFitters, where your kidneys and organs, they malfunction and they stop detoxing and you could die from it. And Ko, and I'm like, damn, if that's true, I wish I would have known that. It raised a question, should we wait? Yeah, and see, this is where we're learning. So it's my Tuesday. I'm going to continue business as usual on the breakdowns, but in terms of me putting my money on the fights, I'm waiting a little bit. I'm waiting as long as I can because, there's so many factors in boxing. And if you read my breakdown, go to the comments if you want. I did the breakdown of Gallegos and Ko last week. There were like 3 commenters who said, I can't, and this was when I released that video on Tuesday night. They were like, I can't tell you why, but Ko's going to be different this fight. He had issues that haven't been announced. And I'm thinking that's an excuse. Everybody has issues. I'm thinking like, and then sure enough, 3 nights later, I read the Ring article, and I was in too deep to flip-flop because my bet was in, and I was just riding with Gallegos. And literally, the first 10 seconds, if you watch the fight, the first exchange, Ko hits him out 2 out of 3 punches. And I was like, damn, he looks so different. Garcia and Plant losses still got me. Yeah. Sid, I feel you. It's hard to let the losses go. Like I could tell, and this is my personality. And Sid, you're the same here. It's like I don't know if any of you guys played sports growing up or wherever it was, or even like in a competition. I could still tell you like a lot losses that I lost 25 years ago in high school. They stay. Hello, Assad. I appreciate you. Josh Taylor. Yes, that's another one. We were DJ. People were telling me, people close to Taylor's camp were saying Taylor's partying. He's on the bags. And I was like, surely Echo Esamon's not going to be Taylor against Andrade. You got to damn, what happened to Boo Boo? Mate, fresh. You just reminded me. Demetrius Andrade, where are you? Boo Boo got that money and bounced. But mate, I mean, I'm a fan. Damn, that whole era. We almost got like robbed from a generation's era. You put Boo Boo there, you put Keith Thurman there, you put EJ there. There were so many world-class fighters. You throw the Charlos in there. That era, I don't think we ever got to see. I think Bud might be the only one from that era who reached his full potential. And maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I might put 50 on DLS. He's a 7-1 dog, Ethan. He has a puncher's chance. He can win that fight. De Los Santos is a dog. But, what do we always talk about on the channel? What have you done for me lately? And let me just go over, all you guys have to do is look at Keyshawn's performances. Look what Keyshawn has looked like. Yeah. And when I look at fighters I cheer for, I look at that growth pattern. This is a guy, I know, this is a guy who came from 35. Dominicans could crack, and I can't remember seeing Keyshawn with a big puncher. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ethan, I'm going to pull that up. You posed good points here. All right, Keyshawn, he's on. Yeah, Baranchik, not a big puncher. Lemos, she stopped him. Medueno, Pedraza, Nahir Albright, 16-2. Anthony Idiot, 26-2. I mean, he's been up against some quality opponents, but you're right. Big punchers, maybe I think you're right on that. I mean, what's Albright's knockout to win ratio? No. Yeah, Edwin De Los Santos will definitely be. So a puncher's chance, yeah, but it's not just punching. It's movement. It's setups. The thing that, yeah, not active. The thing that Keyshawn does, guys, and I think this is a testament to Keyshawn getting stopped. Respectfully, I'll be Badger. Put money on that. The odds are great. Badger. Put a hundy on that. You're gonna win a lot of money if you really think Keyshawn's gonna get stopped. But what Keyshawn does really well is, he hides a lot of his offensive setups. Some fighters, I'll use Thomas LaManna, perfect example. Domestic guy, every time he went to world-class level, he gets beat. But his jab is good, it's decent, but it's from one angle. LaManna and guys at the domestic level, they struggle throwing their jabs at different angles and hiding it. Everything looks the same. Keyshawn hides a lot of his punches, a lot of his angles. He'll slip, he'll feint, he'll use foot feints, head feints. So it's not just the big punching, and this is why we know it's boxing that wins you fights. He does a lot of little tricky things in there that confuses his opponents, especially if his opponent is offensive minded. Keyshawn is the real deal when he has a full game. I'm gonna say lock of the week, knockdown prop is a lock. Goat, could you repeat that, please? What every time you say is a lock, I didn't catch that. What's a lock? A knockdown prop on which fight? The Keyshawn or De La Edwin? Yeah, Keyshawn's 5'9". It's a 12-round fight. 5'8", 5'9", southpaw Orth. Shakur. De Los Santos kept up with Shakur. Yeah, but the thing is, I get burned in the comments for saying this. I actually like that fight. I liked what Shakur did in that fight. You got a lot of the haters said he ran, but what Shakur did in that fight was show an opponent's game plan not having a plan B, C, or D. Edwin De Los Santos had one game plan, and Shakur negated that and stopped it. And De Los Santos couldn't do anything. So for game planning for De Los Santos, Keyshawn studied that tape as well. And I'm expecting Keyshawn obviously not to move as much, but on the angles and on that aggression, countering and making De Los Santos pay. If we want to say, like, based on De Los Santos' punching power and, where he comes from, his ethnicity and his resume, does he have a puncher's chance? He is a live dog. He is a live dog, but I have to do this, when I come up with my predictions, and I'll be uploading the video, I come at it I try to be analytical about it. I liked it too, but Shakur stopped Parlay. Why didn't he stop? Yeah, and Badger, Padley, Josh Padley, think about it. You're a great fight. You're a great fighter when guys lose to you and their stock rises. There's something nobody talks about. People will shit on Shakur. Big fan of Shakur over here. But Padley everyone hated on Padley for being an Uber driver. He gets beat, and now he gets signed with Matchroom. He's in big fights now. We know Josh Padley now. Did you see Lima upset Koopman fight? Was a solid bet. Aki, I didn't see that fight, man. There's been so many fights. That's why I ask you guys, wherever you're tuning in, yeah, Shakur did have messed up hands. And I did a photo of it. Shakur's hands historically are damaged. But if you want me to cover a fight, and I don't want to use the word obscure to offend anyone, let me know in the comments. Second favorite fighter behind Benavidez. And I can see why, man. Padley's life changed off of a loss. I think Josh might have won one exchange. Maybe he might have caught Shakur early, and Shakur backed up and kind of smiled. But that's it, and his life changed. Padley just won. Yeah, I know. He did. And Padley's, I cover a lot of the Brits here. And Josh Padley in the blogs, people are high on Padley. And he's a decent fighter. I just thought he was a domestic guy. He gets stopped. But you go in there short notice, and get stopped by Shakur, and then you become a world-class guy. What does that tell you about Shakur? You know what I'm saying? So it's even the same. It's even the same narrative, bro. If Shakur was that great, he would have stopped DLS or gave a better performance. I don't know, man. We don't know what they're going through. When I think about Shakur's great, there's different variables of greatness with boxers. Shakur's greatness comes, and we always talk about it, are his intuitiveness, his instincts, his reaction time, his reflexes, his movement patterns, his understanding of the 3 levels of the pocket, his range, how he's able to go exit, inside move, not get hit, how he's able to counter you. There's so many things going on that a lot of people, the average fan, they don't understand, they don't see. When you, and I'm not talking down on anybody about this, but when you spar, when you box, when you learn the sport, if you coach, if you've ever had lessons from a real fighter, you start learning the little nuanced minutia of the sport, and you start understanding what Pernell Whitaker was doing. You start understanding what Floyd Mayweather was doing. You start understanding what Shakur does. And why those are the things that make him special. There's big punchers. If we're gonna say that power makes you special, there's a long list of big punchers in boxing. Isn't about stopping guys, it's about beating them. 100%. Great quote. Boxing isn't about stopping guys, it's about beating them. And so that's why I've always been high on Shakur. I think what we're gonna see though is the resurgence of the hype. He's in it now. He's in his late 20s, Stevenson. He's in a weight class where I think his power, I don't even know if he's probably entering his physical prime. He looked good against Padley. We're going to see what he looks like against Shakur's fighting soon too. Yeah, Zepeda. Man, I don't like looking too far ahead. That's why, July 12th. El Camarón. Winning is always number one. Guys, wherever you're tuning into this, we always have the chat going. Could you please like this video? Like I said, if there's fights, Fabio Worley, Justice Uni fight. Ryan, I'm uploading my prediction today in a few hours. It's a great fight. I think there's some prop bets we could win a lot of money on. Hooney is close to a 3-1 dog right now on my book in Australia. Yes, goat's spot on. And I think right now, I'm not going to tell you who I'm picking, but I think to answer your question, I think there's money we could win on the Hooney fight. You think Junto continues? I think so, Mar. I think Junto knocks out Nishida. I'm high on Junto. Brittle hand, Shakur going to get his first loss next fight. Cameroon. Zepeda is one of my favorite fighters. Hooney got that in the bag. I don't think it's that easy. If you can post I do. Badger, I always post it. I post my wins and losses. I didn't realize, I thought I was going to get a lot of hate, but I got some cool compliments from you guys for posting my losses. I didn't realize that not many people post their losses. No chance in hell. Yeah, I don't think Zepeda beats Shakur either, but I think Zepeda's style is perfect for Shakur to look good, because Zepeda's, there's a lot that you got to like about Zepeda in terms of his pace, his cardio, his pressure, his willingness to engage, but, not sitting down on his punches. When you have a guy who's able to counter with those quick reflexes, Shakur's going into that fight probably thinking he's already seen, Zepeda's not bringing anything that he hasn't seen before. And, Zepeda, he gets stoppages, but they're usually from drowning a lesser domestic level opponent. Those are his stoppages. He doesn't have one-punch knockout power. So I think Shakur's going to, Zepeda's going to walk on to some shots. I'm learning drive at TKO inside of 6, my boss, Calvin Davis. I can see an upset that one. Me too, Mar. Shakur fight is going over. Yeah, statistically, guys, what's up, Johnny Ohio in the building, one of the best. Mar the Machine, man, I appreciate you. My roots are in Northeast Ohio. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Remember to like this video. A lot of you guys are either watching this and not realizing how much just hitting a thumbs up will help it. Also, if you're watching the content, you haven't hit subscribe yet, do that as well. It just helps the channel. It's all I ask. I know a lot of you guys are asking to start a Discord or Patreon to put some other good content in there. I'm not rushing to do that just yet. I don't want to ask you guys for any more money. I don't want to, I'm growing my channel. I feel like I'm in a position where I want to grow my channel, grow my knowledge even further, the sport, further engage the community, and just keep having chats like this. I believe Shakur will pick up the offensive pace if he has to. He knocked out Padley with a jab to the stomach. He has more power than people think. Yeah, and Shakur's power comes off of his timing. You know what I mean? It's that timing that a lot of power in boxing isn't about what we think it is. It's more about catching a guy in a specific moment and then throwing yours, like shifting weight from back to front, them going too far on the front foot, and then you catch them. So that's a type of power as well. So timing, I talk about it on the channel, is a component of a successful fighter's offense or defense that you don't hear people talk a lot about. And Shakur's timing's on point. Shakur only fights if he knows the opposition isn't punching. You mean exchanging? Yeah, and that's the knock on him. He's not going to be one of these guys who's going to punch with you. Word is Keyshawn's moving to 140 soon. Hopefully Abdullah fills the W. Abdullah is a fun prospect, mate. Cleveland, Ohio. Mar the Prince. Ohio runs boxing. Yes. Yeah, Abdullah. Mar, we got Tiger Johnson too. Delonte, a Cleveland guy. Fought at 147 his first fight last against, we covered that. He won Kendo Tremendo. He stopped Kendo Tremendo, a tough veteran. Shakur, Kit Kat Stevens. Nah, for real, Plant decision was on. I know, Stack. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Caleb Plant screwed all of us. Caleb Plant, talk about getting outworked. I mean, somebody told me to watch the interview that Breadman did after, and I did, because I was critical of Breadman's lack of technical advice to Caleb in between rounds, but then afterwards he did an interview and he was actually asked about that, and he spoke about that, and he said, and you can watch this interview on YouTube. Breadman was saying how Caleb's flaws come not in his preparation, but his variety of preparation. He's been sparring with the same guys his whole career. He doesn't travel to get new looks. He's kind of set in his ways at this stage of the game. He's made his money, and you can see that. He's stagnated. You know, 32, 33 isn't the end of the road for a lot of fighters. You know, there's plenty of examples where guys continue to add elements to their game, but you have to want to do that. You know, you have to be willing to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to say at that stage of the game, I made my money, I have a good, you know, nest egg, but I still want to get better. And we just haven't seen that with Caleb. We just haven't seen him add tools to his game. If anything, we've seen him regress. And I think that was on full display when, if you watch the fight, guys, I know Goat saw this. All Caleb was doing offensively from the 6th round onward was trying to catch Resendez with the same combo he caught Darrell with. And Resendez wasn't having it. Resendez would just stay here. And Caleb would go lead hand to the liver, lead hook up top. And it wouldn't land. It was the same exact combo he hit Darrell with, and it was like that was his home run. It reminded me of a home run hitter or a baseball team in the last inning, you know, trying to hit a long ball. And that rarely ever works out. Yeah, you got to hit singles first. You got to play small ball. You know, most times teams that win World Series or make it far in baseball are teams that are able to hit the ball, contact hitters, get on base, and then the long ball comes. If you're just swinging for the fences, you haven't set anything up. You know, you might hit 1 or 2 bombs, but you're not going to win a lot of games. And that's what Caleb was reminding me of. He was just trying to go for like his pot shot that everybody saw coming. We saw it coming. We've seen the knockout go viral. You're telling me this 26-year-old Mexican isn't preparing for that? You're telling me that he's fighting a guy like you that isn't a no knockout artist, that his biggest win, it's safe to say Darrell's probably his biggest win, and most definitely his biggest knockout. You don't think he trained for that? You don't think Resendez was going to that fight saying, I'm not getting caught, I'm not getting fucking dug in the ground like Darrell? And the mistake Darrell made was he stayed in the pocket with his head here and his hands here, rather than here. And every time Resendez engaged, he was defensively responsible. It was actually nice to watch. And like I said yesterday on the live stream, even though my parlay lost, even though I lost a lot of money, by the 7th round and what I was watching in Plant's body language, he wasn't giving me shit. He wasn't giving us anything. I was just like, you know what, Resendez, stop him. And this is the kind of mind, I was like, Toro, stop this dude. You know, even though that's how my mentality is. If you're gonna just not give me what I want from you, or if you're gonna like sell something short, I'm going the opposite. I'm a contrarian. I'm gonna be like, all right, F it, knock this dude out. We should have I know, it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done, boys. All right, guys, like this video. We're approaching 45 minutes. I gotta take my girl to the doctor. Nothing serious. She just doesn't like going by herself. I always bring her up. We don't live together. We live in the same neighborhood. So she's just right over here. I'm uploading the Hooney versus Wardley fight, my breakdown analysis. If you're new to the channel, I say welcome. If you've been here, I say appreciate the support. Everybody like this video, comment. Stay tuned to the channel. We got a big week. We're going to start piecing our parlay together tomorrow. So stay tuned. I do lives every single day. I appreciate everyone.